Hi, GFA community. Thanks for tuning in for this interview introduction of NowShenzhen.com. Joining us today are our fearless leaders, Mike Michelini and his partner in the business, David Ho.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
We'll begin by introducing David and then exploring the story behind NowShenzhen.com. We'll cover some follow-up questions and close with some information about how you can get involved. So, hi guys!
What's up? Great job, Aubrey.
So, David, I think many in the community already know you, but for those that don't, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Aubrey. I guess at this point in my life, I'm basically a local Shenzhen expat. I grew up in the US in Massachusetts. I moved here in 2008. I run a number of businesses in sourcing, printed circuits, software, and website development over the years. I've always kind of been the guy that is really interested in meeting new people, building really strong connections and helping them solve their problems. So I kind of naturally gravitate towards sales, service, and business development roles in pretty much everything I do. And that's what I'm bringing to the table with for NowShenzhen.com.
So yeah, thanks for that, David. So Mike, we all know and love you, but for those that are tuning in for the first time, could you share a bit about your background too?
Do I have to, Dave? Do I have to, Aubrey?
Yes, David told me beforehand that to give you a chance or choice right now.
I did. That's true.
Oh, boy, here we go. All right. Well, I'm usually on the other side of the table here. Usually I'm hosting this show, Global from Asia. I hope there's some regular listeners and some new listeners for today's episode. But for those maybe that don't know me, I am Mike Michelini. Came to here in Shenzhen end of 2007 for sourcing products from my e-commerce business and to expand the online marketing, online team. And was always blogging, always creating content. That's what I love to do. And David's recognized that. We're close friends since we both came back here at the same time, came here at the same time, and became really good friends. And really love the community here in Shenzhen. The events, the expats, the foreign local Chinese are all entrepreneurs. And for me, with this business opportunity and this business venture, is really to just recognize this monumental website, because it was one of the first sites that I came to that helped me find people that I hired and apartments and other opportunities. So it's great to be involved in this in the next chapter.
That's it. Oh, thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Thank you so much.
Now, let me briefly introduce NowShenzhen.com for those of you that aren't familiar with it. NowShenzhen.com has been a pillar of Shenzhen's online community for over 2 decades. For most of its life, it has been known by its original name, ShenzhenParty.com. So, the site provides a variety of useful and authoritative online resources and tools for expats, travelers, businessmen, families, and interested eyeballs the world over. So, I'm just curious, Mike. Could you explain a bit more about the brand story?
Sure. I mean, we've been practicing for this in our pre-recording. I still call it Shenzhen Party, to be honest. You did mention it in the intro, but basically, as far as a brand, we rebrand. It's in a rebranding to Now Shenzhen, because it's really in the Chinese name we're trying to use is Shenzai, which is now, and Shenzhen is of course Shenzhen. So Now Shenzhen. And Now Shenzhen is more than just parties. We love partying here, but it's really about news, apartments, jobs, and events is the core of this brand and this business. And many of our friends, David and I, and probably some of you have used this to do those things, to learn about what's happening here, both for events and news, as well as find an apartment, find a job. And of course, we're gonna have some evergreen content about how to get back to China, but long form content, and of course, adapting to this new changing world post-COVID. As far as the brand, also, it's been owned by a mutual friend of ours, Brent Deverman. He started this with others in 2001. And he's actually been on the Global from Asia podcast at least once or twice. We'll link those up in the show notes if you want to hear Brent talking about some WeChat marketing and other things about some valuable insights. I'm sure he's watching or listening to this right now. But For Brent, we've met many times. He's been in Hong Kong, and of course with COVID and the border closing, and he's growing in the corporate world. He has not been able to attend to this as much as he'd like to, and was looking for a new set of hands. It's actually a lot of hands. We need a lot of people to help build this site to run it. But we're really appreciative of what he's built so far, and we really want to carry the torch and help with the passion of Shenzhen and the community here. And that's where David and I come into this story.
Oh, that sounds pretty exciting. So what is that made you guys decide to pick up the torch and take over nowshenzhen.com?
So you want to take that one, David? Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
You got this.
I've been waiting for that question. It's mine. I think I've been looking for an opportunity to join forces with Mike for quite some time. We kind of have complementary skill sets. I kind of viewed us as like a potentially good team looking for a suitable project over the last handful of years. So when nowshenzhen.com came up, it seemed kind of serendipitous, if you will. And it seemed to fit very well with what we were looking for. I think Mike and I, we both share a passion for Shenzhen. We've collectively been here for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
We've been fans of the brand and personal friends of Brent for most of that time. We both know the business and have experience in all aspects of it, both technically and on the business side. So when Brent started talking about moving on and selling the business, it felt like it was a natural fit for me and Mike. I think Mike and I, we share a common vision about what nowshenzhen.com should be for our users and the community. We also see pretty eye to eye when it comes to the value we intend to offer to our advertisers. So basically, in a nutshell, I think Mike and I felt it was a good business opportunity as well as a means of bringing us together on a project we both cared about and felt we had the experience, skills, and motivation to really knock out of the park.
So wow, that all sounds really exciting. So what are your plans for the future of the site?
I think that's one for you, Mike.
Oh boy. Yeah. Like it's been in a progress, already for quite some time in the months now. So we're breaking it down into the short-term and the medium-term development plans. And we kind of code-named them 1.5 and version 2.0. We've already been working hard. And hopefully by the end of next week, we're getting into December, I think early December, we should be mostly done with 1.5, right? And you can check it out right now. Whenever you're watching this, hopefully it's even better. But the goal of the 1.5 version is to kind of clean up and organize all of this content over the years to make it more easy to navigate while also preserving this SEO juice for the users to find it and also make it navigatable, and also streamlining the back-end processes because when we took over the site in late August, we had a site that we felt was not so easy to navigate. It had some different technical legacy issues and a lack, of course, of people, which was one real big issue with the site was we needed more people. So we made a big push and to make it a much more well-organized, in our opinion, site that will also rank well in the search and for the users to find, as well as for you, the user, to actually find what you're looking for to find as well as to submit and publish content. Going into version 2.0, it's a bigger update. Dave and I are discussing when, but looking for maybe mid Q1 2022, sometime next year, or earlier next year. And we are building out a site with different specifics, but maybe the UI, of course, the UI will be further improved, the servicing flow, the functional updates, they'll bring the site closer to a modern edge of what's available. So things like the integration of restaurant reviews from authoritative resources and optimized events calendar with Ajax powered filtering and some other advanced features on the docket that I'm really excited to share. What do you think, Dave?
I'm also excited.
Awesome.
Great. Sounds like you guys really have your work cut out of you. So, is there anything you'd like to ask our community? How can people tuning in today participate?
That's a good question, Aubrey. I think, first and foremost, we'd love to hear from anyone that has interest via the survey on the website. You can navigate to it directly by going to my.nowshenzhen.com/survey. I personally read all those survey results. We also have a newsletter, which I encourage anyone that's interested to sign up for. I also review all the replies to the newsletter. Again, in my mind, the site really belongs to and relies upon its community for guidance on how to better serve it. So collecting the voice of the user is very important to us and me.
Wow, thanks for sharing all of that, David. So, is there
I feel the
anything
love.
else? So, is there anything else either of you would like to add before we conclude this interview?
I guess I can jump in first. I think we'll both share some points, but obviously I'm on the content and the internet marketing side, and content is king. If you have content you like to contribute, we're looking for quality content. I think that's another upgrade. We're not going to auto post everything that people submit, but if you have a quality news article or apartment or job or event or other guide that you would like to share with this amazing community, it'll go not just on a website. We also have a pretty big WeChat official account that has been built up over the many years, so it should get some far reach. And maybe even not just a one-time thing. If you want to be a regular, this is if you look on a team, there was a really big team in the past, and we're rebuilding the team. So if you actually want to consider actually being more active contributor on a regular basis, we would love to have you consider that for that. I mean, but basically content submissions and creation would be amazing. Dave, you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just like to reiterate, like I've said already, that we really at this point would love to hear back from anybody in the community, because we're 2.0 is a really big update, and we're still figuring out what we want to put into that. And a lot of how we're deciding is based on what the people that actually use the site and care about the site are telling us. So really, I mean, the survey or replying to the newsletter, or even if you're able to get in touch with us individually, if you have ideas that you'd like to share about how you think that it can be a better, more useful site for the users, we really would like to hear from you.
So, thank you guys. I'm really honored to interview the two of you, and it's so great to have you here on GFA. David, thank you for joining us here.
Oh, sorry. I also wanted to say thank you to the GFA community for taking the time to watch our little video spiel about nowshenzhen.com. Forgot that.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I mean, I hope people enjoyed this. We'll probably have some more progress updates with this. Of course, GFA, the podcast will continue. We're actually going to be, Aubrey has been really growing. We're gonna have more hosts. We might even have more regular shows even more often. We did a great member call where we have more people that want to be hosts. And there's tons of people who want to be on the show, and hopefully maybe there's even more ways we could cross promote with the GFA and Now Shenzhen. There always was this collaboration with it over the years, and I'm sure that will continue to grow even more. But yeah, thanks Dave for sharing. I'm really happy to be working with you on this, and I think it's going to be an amazing asset even more for the community. And maybe we'll bring some of you over to China, when this border opens, the border opens, maybe you can use this site to help you get a job, an apartment, learn about the latest news and guides. But yeah, I thank you, Dave. Thank you, Aubrey, and everyone for watching.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.